Hello, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me here this morning on Narcissism 101, Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday morning, and I hope that you're having a good day so far. Before we get into what we're going to talk about today, if you would like a one-on-one session, please email me at paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com. Or you can send a text message to 647-406-3057 if you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need some advice, if you're trying to figure out whether you're dealing with a narcissist or not. If you have some questions for me about any of the content that I posted, please feel free to reach out to me. If you'd like to call, just like I said before, just send a text to the number. Let me know that it's you, just so that I know it's you. Because if you just call me, I may just block the number because I just don't answer random numbers like that. So please just send a text. Let me know it's you. Let me know your name. Let me know you've been watching my videos, and then I can get you the help that you need. All right. All right. So we're gonna get into what we're gonna talk about now. The title of this video today is "Familiarity Breeds Contempt." Familiarity breeds contempt. That's what the title of this video is today. So, narcissists. We've been talking about all the things that have to do with narcissists, and if you've been watching my video for quite some time, you know that one of the things I say in my videos is narcissists thrive off of chaos, confusion, and control. Narcissists are very lazy. Narcissists always think that they can always take the easy way out of everything. Narcissists don't like doing the hard work. Narcissists don't like doing what's required. Narcissists think that nobody's ever going to figure out their game, figure out their lies, figure out that they gaslight, figure out that they manipulate, figure out that they go around behind people's backs and tell flat out lies about them, even though they don't even know those people. And those people happen to be people who the narcissist is jealous and envious of. Only a coward, only a stupid person an idiot would do something like that. Go around telling flat out lies about people whom they don't even know. Only an idiot would do something like that, right? That's the narcissist. The narcissist is a stupid idiot. Those are the things they do. Don't mean to be blunt. I'm just telling you like it is. A narcissist is a stupid idiot. But what you also need to understand too is that narcissists, because they're stupid idiots, and because they like to, because they're lazy, and because they always like to take the easy way out, they have no creativity. They have no mind of their own. They always need to copy and take from people, right? One thing about narcissists that's important to understand too is that, and the reason why this video is called "Familiarity Breeds Contempt," is that narcissists love what is familiar to them. That's why when it comes down to relationships, narcissists don't usually like to build relationships. Narcissists like to ruin relationships. Narcissists, they like what's familiar to them, right? That's why they're the people that they surround themselves with are people that they've known all their lives. So their friends, their family who's usually most of the time narcissistic. It's usually their mom who's the covert narcissist, the ringleader of the family, although it could be their father as well, who's a controlling, malignant narcissist, or their mom's a malignant. It could be either one, but most of the time, the mother is a covert narcissist who is the ringleader, who controls everybody, who always wants to make herself the center of attention. But the dad, it could also be flipped where the father is also the ringleader. So in my family, it was my dad who was the covert narcissist who controlled everybody in the family. But anyways, what I'm saying here is that narcissists like what is familiar to them, right? That's why narcissists don't like new relationships. If they can hold on to a supply source, hold on to a person that they're dating, for example, or a person that they're married to, usually narcissists, that's the main reason why, and this is something that not a lot of people talk about. This is the main reason why a lot of narcissists don't like to get divorces. Right? That's why when it comes down to divorcing the narcissist, they drag out the divorce process for long periods of time. Why do you think that is? Why do you think somebody would drag out a divorce process? Don't you think that isn't it like when two people get divorced, Usually, they go through an agreement, they sit down, they talk about why the marriage ended, why things didn't work out, and then they come to an agreement that this is what you're gonna get, this is what you're gonna get, and this is how we're gonna go about it. This is you're gonna have the kids this time, I'll have the kids this time, and then you guys go about your lives and you guys live your lives like normal people. No, that's not how the narcissist works. The narcissist, they want to drag it out for two reasons. One, it's because they want to control. They want to control the victim, the person, and the person who's the empath in the marriage. They want to control them. They want to keep them stuck, so that that person isn't able to move on, so that that person isn't able to live their lives, so that that person can stay stuck with them because because they are familiar to the narcissist, because the narcissist doesn't like to do hard work. Narcissists don't like to see relationships the way you and I see relationships. The way you and I see relationships is that you get to know somebody, you spend time with them, you get to know them, you get to know their likes and their dislikes, and then you grow. Your relationship grows with them over time. And then before you know it, you guys have a good relationship. Maybe you guys have known each other for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, maybe a lifetime, who knows? But the narcissists, on the other hand, see, narcissists don't like that. They don't like to build relationships. What they like to do is they like to gather as much information as they can about people, only to use that information about them at a later date. So let's say, for example, when you and the narcissist, and you didn't know this person was a narcissist, let's just say that you and them were talking and you guys were getting to know each other, and let's say that you told them a secret that you wanted to, and this is classic, so you guys ought to pay attention to this part. Let's say that you were talking to a person, you were getting to know them, and let's say that you guys were talking, you guys were sharing things with each other, and let's say you guys have known each other for quite some time, maybe 5 years, 10 years, I don't know, whatever you want to say, and you guys are getting to know each other for quite some time. Maybe you told them some secrets, and you were hoping inside of yourself that they would keep these secrets between the two of you guys, right? Because you trust them, because they're your friend, and you thought that you guys were all good, and you did the same for them, that they told you their secrets, and then you kept them a secret, and then you didn't tell anybody, right? Well, see, that's not how the narcissist sees things. The narcissist holds on to those secrets, and what do they do at a later date? What they do is they go and they smear campaign and go tell everybody else your secret, and usually that is their family, their narcissistic family, that they go and tell your secrets to, or it's their friends, their narcissistic friends, who majority of the time are narcissistic just like they are, and they'll go tell your secrets. And that's why what happens is that when you meet the narcissist family and their friends, which sometimes you won't meet their family or friends, but let's just say that you go and meet their family or their friends, what's going to happen is that their family and friends, they're going to be acting very strange around you. They're not going to know how to talk to you. They're going to think that something's wrong with you. They're going to look at you like you're missing something, like you're the one who's crazy. And you're going to be asking yourself, why the heck are these people acting so strange? And you're asking yourself this question. Well, the answer to that question is that it's because the person who you got involved with, who's the narcissist, they went and told their family, they made up stories, and they took what you said, everything that you told them, every story, every secret that you told them, they held on to that. They took it down in their demonic brain, their disordered brain. And what they did was they took them, and then what they did was they created their own story from them and made up they fabricated your story, and then they told everybody else. It's almost like broken telephone, right? When you guys played broken telephone when we were in school, there was a circle around, or a line, doesn't matter, a circle or a line, and then every person had a cup, and then every person was holding that cup towards their ear. One person would start off telling a secret, and then it was up to the next person to make sure that they kept the secret. But sometimes what happens is that the next person, a few people down, one person would forget the secret, or they wouldn't tell it properly, and then they would screw up the game, and then you would have to start all over again. So it's the same thing with the narcissist. The narcissist, they play broken telephone with everybody, right? They do this because they want to control. They want to have as much people as they can under their influence, under their demonic influence, right? And as long as those people are stuck, They don't want to build other relationships outside of those people because narcissists like familiarity. Narcissists love what is familiar to them. That's why narcissists, when they get with you and you thought that you were in a healthy relationship with somebody who is normal, who is going to grow with you, you thought that everything was gonna be great, because that's what the narcissist did. They sold you a lie. They future faked you the whole time, telling you that we would do this, we would do that, we would start a business, we would grow old together, we would own a house, we would have dogs and pets and animals, and we would own a farm. And they promised you all these things, and maybe they did do these things. Maybe they got married, maybe they had pets, maybe they had a farm. But see, that was only for the time, that was only for as long as it served them. And then once it didn't serve any purpose to them, once that business didn't serve any purpose for them, maybe they ended that business and took everything and then left you with absolutely nothing, even though you worked harder than the narcissist did. Meanwhile, they just sat back in their chair and watched you work hard, and they were on one of their smartphones or their tablet or their laptop, trying to look for your replacement. Or you guys maybe did get married, right? Maybe they promised to grow old with you, and then next thing you know, you come home, and then there's somebody in your house that's sitting beside them, and that person is way too close to them, and then you're figuring out what the hell is going on, and you don't know what to do, because you're just like, should I approach? And you're scratching your head saying, is this my wife? Is this my husband? Why are they with this person whom I've never met before? And why are they sitting so close to them? Is this what's happening here? And then you're just standing there in shock because you don't know what the hell is going on. And then later you find out that the narcissist, or maybe the narcissist even flat out tells you when that person leaves that they cheated on you with them. And then now your whole life falls apart right before your eyes, right? So you have to understand that narcissists, they love the familiarity. And once they blow that up, that person's life up, because guaranteed that person is a target now. That person is probably going to be a flying monkey for the future. And that person's going to be doing a flying monkey. For those of you who are new to my channel, and thank you so much for being new. We appreciate having you here on the Narcissism 101 Cracking the Code. What a flying monkey is, if you're new to narcissism, is that's a person who does the bidding for the narcissist. Meaning that person, when the narcissist tells them to go collect information about that person, go ask that person questions, go find out how that person is doing, and then report back to me, that person will do what the narcissist says. But understand this also with flying monkeys. At some point, the flying monkey's life they're going to also be the next target as well, because if they go out of line and they do something that the narcissist doesn't tell them to do, and they don't listen, then they will be the next target. And the narcissist will... Truth is, narcissists will destroy everybody's life, whomever gets too close to them eventually. They will eventually even destroy themselves, because evil eventually destroys itself. The devil, if you're a Christian like me, you know that the devil, he's going to be thrown in that pit of lake hell's fire, and he's going to burn in hell forever. Same thing with the narcissist. Narcissists are human beings, but unless they repent, which 99.9% of the times they will never do, and they can't, because they think there's nothing wrong with them. They think that they're infallible. They believe that they're better than everybody else. They're going to go down swinging and burn in hell with the devil himself. Right? So what I'm saying here, guys, is that the narcissist, they love familiarity breeds contempt. The narcissist, they love what's familiar to them. They don't like to, that's why they hate building relationships. And that's why they're loyal to their family, their narcissistic family, and they're not loyal to you. That's why when it comes down to the narcissist, let's say that you're married to them, and let's say that your in-laws did something not nice to you. Maybe you were at a get-together, and let's say the brother or sister-in-law or cousin-in-law or aunt, whomever the in-law was, they said something disrespectful to you, or they made you feel uncomfortable. And then let's say that you went to the narcissist, and then you told them how you felt. You said, I felt like your family member said something not very nice to me, and this is what they said. And then you told the narcissist, and I guarantee you the narcissist knows exactly what happened, but the fact is that they just don't care, and they will stick up for their family at all costs. Because why? Because they're just as narcissistic as the narcissist, right? And they also get supply also from watching you explain to them things that they already know. they get supply from that, and they're laughing in their head saying, wow, this person doesn't even know that I'm a narcissist, and this person's going to keep on explaining to me until I discard them. So anyways, what happens there is that you explain it to the narcissist, and then what they will do is they're going to actually blame you. They're going to blame you and say, well, you said something that they didn't like, or you deserve that. You should stop taking everything so seriously, or, oh, well, that's my family. Maybe I shouldn't even invite. Why did I even bother invite you to go see my family anyway? This is why nobody likes you. And then you're scratching your head saying, wait, what the hell's going on here? And you're trying to figure out why they're being so disrespectful to you. You're trying to figure out what you did wrong. Even though the narcissist, they're always the one telling you how much they love you, how much they care about you, but yet their actions don't show that they actually love or care about you, right? And so narcissists, but inside of their mind, they know that you are not going anywhere. At least that's what they think inside their minds, because they think that because you're explaining yourself to them, because you show that you actually care about them, even though they don't care about you, they think inside their minds that you're not going anywhere. They think that you're going to stay stuck, that you're never going to figure out that they're narcissistic, that they're a narcissist, right? And so they think, and they also think, and they believe that, and they know, and because they've known you, and because they were watching you from the beginning, and because they hold on to everything that you told them, now it's all familiar. Now you have become familiar to them. And now that's why when the relationship ends, or they discard you, or they divorce you, or they do any of this or that to you, when they do this to you, what they do is that this is why they hoover their exes. This is why narcissists hoover. And if you're new to the channel, a hoover is when the narcissist is checking on you when the relationship ends. Maybe they call you from a fake number. Maybe they text you from a fake number. Maybe they try to get to you through a fake bogus account on online. Maybe they pop by your house or show up somewhere where you usually go, and then they creep up and they act as if nothing happened. Right? This is known as hoovering. And the narcissist does this for many reasons. One, because they want to see, and none of these reasons are good, by the way. They're not checking on you to get back with you when they message you and say, I love you so much from a fake number. No. They don't do that because they love you. They do it for many reasons. One, the first reason they do it is because they want to see if you've healed. They want to see how you're doing in terms of healing, because they know that every single person before them whose lives they've destroyed, they've had to heal from the relationship. And they're going to think that you're no different from them, right? So they're checking on you to see, one, if you've healed. Second thing they're checking for is to see if you're still alive. Yes, narcissists can be that dangerous to the point where they've driven people to suicide, right? That's how nasty they can be, especially the covert narcissists in their mind games that they play with people. They've driven many people to suicide, and many people have committed suicide. Unfortunately, they've killed themselves because they just can't handle, because their minds have been so distorted inside and out that they don't even know what's right and wrong. And the narcissist has placed seeds of doubt in their mind to the point where they can't even think for themselves, right? So then they commit suicide, right? Or the narcissist, what they're also checking for is if you figured out that they are a narcissist. And the other thing that narcissists do when they're checking on you, they want to see if you're going to take the bait, if you're going to take a bite if you're going to take the bait, right? Again, that's what they're seeing for when they hoover. That's why I've said on my channel, never accept a hoover. When the narcissist plays nice again, even if they make up a lie and say, I need a place to stay, or, I have a health concern, all this stuff, they will use anything in the book to get you to communicate with them. And this is never anything good. Don't think that this is anything good. This is all bad, because they know that they've done this to people in the past. And they do this hoovering because they know that you are familiar to them, right? They know so much about you now. They know what makes you tick. They think they know what makes you tick, right? And so that's why they come after their exes. It's not because they're in love with them or because they want anything good with them. It's because it's familiar to them. And narcissists love what's familiar. That's why I said earlier, and I will say it again for this video, narcissists do not like to build relationships. Narcissists like to ruin relationships. Even if a person is married, let's say, and that person isn't married to the narcissist will look to destroy that person's life as well. That marriage, so that they can get into that person. How will they do this? Well, that's very simple, and I'll explain it right here. How they will do this is that they will go to that husband or their wife, that married couple, and they will start telling lies about one of the people, either the husband or wife. They will go to the husband or their wife and say, your husband or your wife, they have a lot of challenges. They were telling me the other day that how much they don't love you. They don't care about you. They don't really respect you, even though they just brought you some flowers or you guys are out for food. They don't care about you, really. I just want to let you know that. But just keep it between us. Just keep it between us, and don't tell them I said that. And then before you know it, now that couple has a blowout fight, and now the other person doesn't even know what the hell's going on. And then before you know it, now that person, the other person, the husband or the wife, has to file for a divorce because they don't know that a narcissist, an evil person, would do something to destroy a couple like that. And narcissists do this to families as well, right? Where there's a person who's an amazing person in the family who's known as the empath or the scapegoat, the person who keeps the family together. Because narcissists, remember, they're very perceptive. They sit back and they watch. They're always observing people. They're very nosy, and they like to know what's going on all the time because they have nothing else better to do. And so they will be sitting there and they'll be seeing that a family is having a good time, and they'll be sniffing out who's the empath in that family. And then what they're going to do is they're going to go to that family, and then what they're going to do is they're going to say, what they're going to do is they're going to sniff it out, and they're going to start talking to people in that family about the empath. And they're going to say, see him or her? They have problems, and they don't really love you or you. They were actually telling me just now how much they hate you. And then the family says, what the hell? But then narcissist says, listen, don't tell them I said that though. Don't tell that person, the empath, don't tell them I said that. And then the narcissist walks away, and then next thing you know, the empath is being treated so disrespectfully. And then next thing you know, that empath is isolated to the point where their family doesn't like them. And then, if it's at a get together, let's say, next thing you know, the empath, they're alone and their family's treating them disrespectfully, or an argument could ensue and break out. And then next thing you know, then the narcissist is just sitting there saying, yep, I did it again. This is getting fun. I love sitting back and destroying people's lives. So you see what happens here? Narcissists, they do this all the time. But more so for this video, narcissists love to do this because they're lazy. Only a stupid idiot, like I said in the beginning of my video, would go and do something like that to another person's life, just because, even though that person did nothing to them. Only a stupid idiot would do something like that. But when it comes down to narcissists, guys, they like what's familiar to them. Narcissists like to do the same thing. That's another thing I wanted to say. That's why narcissists do the same loop over and over and over again. That's why that loop, and if you're new to this channel, what's the loop? It starts with the love bomb stage, where everything seems amazing, where the narcissist meets a person or people and they lather them up. With fake love. They tell them how much they love them, how much they care about them, how much they look so nice. Your dress looks so nice. You're wearing such a nice suit. You're so good looking and handsome, or you're so sexy and beautiful and all this stuff. They're lathering you up with fake love, and you're responding back to them. And then before you know it, now they pull back. And when they pull back, it means that they stop doing that, and then all of a sudden they're treating you disrespectfully out of nowhere, and they morph into something that you don't even recognize over a year or so. And then now you're in the devaluation stage, where in the love bomb stage you were so beautiful. Now in the devaluation stage, they don't even know what you look like. They're saying that you look ugly. They're saying that, oh, you're not that attractive. My ex is more attractive than you are. Oh, my brother or my sister is more attractive than you are. And then now you can't do anything right. And then after that goes the discard, where they just cut you off, where they just throw you away, where they just act as if nothing happened. If you were married to them, they just run off with somebody else, or they end the marriage and they say, I never wanted to be with you. I was never in love with you. I can't love anybody. That's something my ex-wife said to me. They say things like this, and they do this, all this cycle, because it's familiar to them. It's familiar. They love familiarity. That's why narcissists cannot change, because they do the same things over and over. They have a discard inside of they have a not a discard. They have a disorder within their brain that makes them do the same cycle over and over. That's the disorder of their brain. The personality disorder, the high sense of self-importance, thinking that they're better than everybody else because it's familiar to them. That's why narcissists do the same exact things all the time to everybody that they encounter. Doesn't matter how old the person is or what status they are, if they have millions of dollars or not. It doesn't matter to the narcissist. Everybody is disposable to the narcissist. Every single person that the narcissist meets is disposable. I don't care if that person is handsome, is the most handsomest guy in the world, or the most sexiest woman on the planet. I don't care. The narcissist, everybody is disposable, because the narcissist has a high sense of self-importance where they believe that everybody is beneath them. And even when that narcissist meets someone that's not beneath them, and somebody who has more money than them or is more prestige or established than they are, the narcissist knows that that person is more established than them. But see, because narcissists have such a high sense of self-importance, and because of their disordered brain, they think that they are better than everyone else. They will make it seem as if they are better than that person. They will make it seem as though that person doesn't mean anything to them. You know, in my marriage, I remember when I was married to the narcissist, my ex-wife, who turned out to be a covert narcissist. I remember when we moved to another city, and I became communications chair of some organization or something like that. And I told my ex-wife about it. I told her about it, and I'm thinking, because we're married and because she says I love you and all that, I'm thinking that, okay. I told her about it. I'm thinking she's going to tell her family about it, right? Because it had been quite some time. I thought she would tell her family. And so I would reach out to her family once a month, just to, talk to them and things like that. And for them, and, just keep communication, right? And so I would reach out to her family. Guess what? I would reach out to her family and tell them, about that. And then they would say, oh, we didn't know that. That's great, Paul. And then I would say, oh, she didn't tell you? And then they're like, no, she didn't. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that she didn't tell you about this. And then they're just like, yeah, she didn't. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And then the ex-wife, I confronted her about it. I'm just like, hey, babe, did you not tell your family that I became communication chair of this organization? And then she was like, I did tell them. And I was just like, well, I spoke to your family and they said that you didn't tell them. And then she was like, Paul, I told them. And I was like, babe, I'm just telling you what they said. They said that you didn't tell them. And then she's like, they probably forgot, okay? It's not like it's important anyway. And I'm just like, what? Now I'm sitting there confused, because I'm just like, what the hell's going on here? And she was into some other job in healthcare, and she knew that, when it came down to finances, that I was, that I had more money than she did, right? But she wanted to make it seem as though she was better than me, right? And I had my, I got my certification, my papers for being a chef. And, that brought me up to getting more money and eventually getting a raise of $1 within a week of being at a place, right? And so even then, she tried to make it seem as though she was better than me, right? All because narcissists, remember, they have a high sense of self-importance. And it's because of the disorder in their brain that makes them have this high sense of self-importance. And so narcissists, they want to make it seem like everybody is better than them. Why? It's because it is familiar to them. Narcissists love what is familiar to them, and it breeds them to have contempt for other people. I read somewhere actually, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to probably end this video now. I read somewhere that the number one, and I talked to you guys about this in one of my other videos, that the number one cause of divorce, at least I found, and my premarital counselor told me, was, it's that people don't want to get help when they need it. But I also heard that one of the other number one causes for divorces is contempt. Anytime contempt happens in a marriage, that's usually when the marriage is over, right? So if you think about it, for example, for a second, just think about it. That means that even before the narcissist got with you, or married you, or whatever, or got you tethered to them in some way or shape or form, the marriage was over from the beginning, and they always had contempt for you from the beginning. So that means the relationship and the marriage was over because they've always had contempt for you, because it's familiar to them to have contempt for everybody. Think about that. I'm going to leave you with that, but think about that. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me here today on Narcissism 101, Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. I know that the videos, again, have been a little bit longer than usual recently, but it's because, again, I'm trying to drive home a point, and I'm trying to get the information out there a little bit more, just so that more people can understand and that more people can learn about this thing, because it happens because anybody is susceptible to falling into the trap of a narcissistic experience. And I want to make sure people know what they're getting into see the signs before it's too late. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. Like I said before, if you would like a one-on-one session, please email me, paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or please send a text message to 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need some advice, if you have more questions, please feel free to reach out. If you would like a call, just send a text to that number. Let me know your name. Let me know that you want to talk about your experience, and I'd be more than happy to help you out. Please share it with somebody who you think could use the knowledge, because in doing that, you would be helping somebody who doesn't even know they need help. And there's also a link to the podcast down below that I put down in all my videos, just so that you can see my experience and so that you can see all the things I went through and that you could help someone else. All right. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me here today. And yeah, I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you so much.